Hi everyone. Today we're thrilled to have Dr. Patricia Pozo-Rosich and congratulate her on wonderful publication in Cephalalgia, new philosophic meaning of treatment for migraine. Please, Dr. Patricia Pozo-Rosich, tell us a little bit about your publication, which is now recognized by our Cephalalgia editor, Dr. Sacco, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, first of all, thank you, the editorial team who has selected this paper to be highlighted, and thank you, Nina, for taking the time to do this short interview. So the idea behind this paper was the fact that we are seeing currently that the current approach for migraine preventive therapies is to actually almost wait until a patient has many days of migraine/headache per month to actually intervene with prevention, especially also, for example, with the new anti-CGRP therapies, where in Europe at least, patients have to have a certain, in many countries, not in every country, but have certain conditions of the disease, such as, for example, in Spain, they are only reimbursed if you have more than 8 days of migraine per month and you have already previously tried 3 preventive therapies. So knowing that this is in many countries standard of care, and knowing also that what we see is that with I would say, all of the therapeutic arsenal that we currently have for our patients, we are only able to help those patients when the disease has not progressed, you would say, or is not so burdensome for patients, that we need to actually intervene earlier before the disease becomes refractory, difficult to control, and where we can only achieve maybe a 50% reduction, which is a lot, but it's not enough if you already have, let's say, 15 or 18 days of migraine per month, and then you go down to 9 days. So what we are proposing in my mind is a very complete shift of paradigm. We are trying to make sure that with the current therapies, we are really able to help patients live a life with migraine optimal control or freedom, which means, according to another paper that was published in Cephalalgia earlier this year in February, also an IHS position statement, that patients need to have, 0 or less than 2, 3 moderate to severe headache days per month in order to be considered as, a patient who is properly and optimally controlled. So in order to achieve this, we actually need to start preventive therapy earlier. And on top of it, I think that it is not necessary for patients to progress, transform their migraine, and become high frequent or chronic migraine patients before they are offered appropriate preventive therapy. So the basis of the publication comes from all of this, plus, I would say, information that we are starting to have, clear, I would say, information where we have found biomarkers in epigenetics, in neurophysiological changes, in imaging and structural changes, in molecular changes, that with progression, the disease becomes, you would say, physically measurable in a negative way for our patients. In fact, just as an example, there have been several papers which have shown that when the disease progresses, for example, you can find more iron deposits in the brain, especially they have been found, for example, in the red nucleus or in the periaqueductal gray matter. And in those patients, response to therapy, for example, with an anti-CGRP monoclonal antibody, that the research project was done with erenumab, but also with onabotulinum toxin A. Well, in those patients with more iron deposits, the response to these therapies is worse. So in the end, what we are trying to do here is really to make sure that patients, first of all, do not progress, and second, that they improve enough with the current therapies that we have to achieve migraine freedom.
That is wonderful. So patients do not progress from episodic low frequency to high frequency, and chronic migraine is new and wonderful concept because of now we put these very ambitious goals
Yeah.
of disease freedom. So this is wonderful. And what an optimistic outlook that with our treatments we can reverse a lot of the process. What do you see in the future for us? What's the call for action?
Yeah, the call for action, I would say, is that migraine therapy in general should be offered to those who need it sooner than later. And when I talk about migraine therapy in my mind, it means everything. It means acute therapy, acute therapy, appropriate, I would say, preventive or, migraine therapy. And maybe currently we know that we can help a lot of our patients, but not all of them, with all of the therapeutic arsenal and tools that we have. But if we can improve, and help, let's say, a 60 to a 70% of patients, maybe in the future, the probability and the possibility of becoming a high frequent or chronic migraine person, individual, will have been controlled and reduced. So let's hope. I'm not sure if complete migraine freedom is easy, but let's hope for a future without chronic migraine.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate your publication a lot. It is essential reading and will be posted on the website. And we hope our listeners and viewers will read the article and we see more of your wonderful research very soon. Thank you.
Thank you again for the interest, and let's hope that it becomes a reality for the people who suffer from migraine.
Thank you.